Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, August 4th. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win that money. It's been a couple of days since a big hit for me personally, but last night was so close. What was going on? Nas Hillman was such a good call. My apologies to anybody else who played her as well. That was the right call. This was, if she has a reasonable 0.5 ppm, we take down this tournament. Not even with, yeah, this was a good lineup. The other one involved Onion Wede, so I needed Onion Wede to go off, and she didn't, but still cashed, just not winning anything. I got to keep our Madden streak going. Every day I win this, and I enter the pitch and putt. And so someday I'm going to win the pitch and putt, and that'll be fun. But I'm also getting them at massive, like 50, 60, 70% EV. Then this is just a little time because it's my birthday and this is on my birthday cake. And also, some of you guys are newer to the show. You may not know exactly why we've got Haywood Highsmith in the rafters here. He's our only guy in the rafters because of this one day. This was game one of the finals last year. We're living now exactly 2 months in the past. But hey, when you take down like this little streak of things, you got to be able to live in that all year long. So I mean, honestly, since then I just got that Queen of the Court live final qualifier. So this is at the beginning of the year. I set my goal. I was like, all right, I want to make a live final this year. I'm not going to put more money into it. I just want to effectively use my money towards that. And then I didn't expect my first live final to be. So this was why we have Haywood Highsmith in the rafters. This is a screenshot taken when I took the lead in the third quarter. He subsequently hit a whole bunch of threes in garbage time, and I was just running around the house. I didn't take an additional screenshot at any point. Thank you also to everybody else. I guess most notably Gabe Vincent was who we needed to really go off, and Bam Adebayo for not going off too much because that almost killed it. Okay, so but then the next game, in game two of the finals, we had the tiebreaker because game one of the finals, this was a millie. So the fact it's only 83,000, that was like borderline number of dupes, 13, 14. It was exactly the borderline. My borderline was 15 for the game because I wanted to win about 100,000. So then the next game, we took down I took down the Tournament of Champions semifinal ticket. So next year sometime, we will get to go to the Tournament of Champions semifinal. I don't know exactly what the guarantee is. They haven't finished the format because I don't know exactly how many tickets or how many seats there will be. So exactly what the minimum payouts and stuff will be. But I also took down the Millie that day, which was only 250, and we split it 100 ways. So who cares? Maybe more. But I was just covering my thing with another couple of expensive single entries as well as the Millie. So those 2 days, that was 28,000 on that day and 90,000 on this day. And it's just like between those 2 days, I had a great year of gambling. And I just felt like, I'm not giving it back, like I'm not betting $2,500 a night or whatever. I just don't need to. I want this win to live on. And so, yeah, well, we'll do what we do every day for baseball. We'll take our shots. We'll build up towards some major. I'm going to max out football season, but yeah, we're just not seeing the return yet in baseball season. Something's missing from the process. So now let's review. You might have noticed none of those screenshots were from baseball. 3 days in a row where some real nasty occurrences have taken us down in baseball. But that's part of my whole thing now. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to live with these positive Queen of the Court qualifiers and live final, whatever the Tournament of Champions is. That's cool. I'm happy. Those are like long-term goals. I hit a hole in one this year as long as we're doing like my birthday bullshit. Sorry, I'm saying there's no cursing on this channel, so that's bull hockey or something. Okay, so actual pitchers early slate was great. Guess what happened to me? I was playing golf and I thought it was at 11:10. I thought both of these games were at 11:10. So I submitted my lineups at 11:06 and it said two of your lineups worked. And I was like, oh God. So anyway, it happened again. I played golf and I lost $20 because I wasn't paying attention. I was only putting $20, I think. Maybe a little bit more because I like that. I like the one that's a 14 max, like quarter entry, maybe dime entry, I forget, for the $100. I want to get $100 entries, a few of them for the millie maker on the first day. I want to have maybe a handful of those so I can take a few shots at a reasonable chance at a millie. Was there anybody like off the board that did well on the early slate? No. And there was one guy who didn't do well. Wait, who's that? Bobby Witt. Oh, that's a batter. Okay, so I don't have these hashed pitchers. whatever. It doesn't really matter. There's nobody off the board pitchers. Yeah, Tukey was on, borderline anyway. Okay, so what about on the main slate? I'm guessing it went not great because it went not great. I had one lineup cash, just one. It wasn't min cash, so that was good as second cash. But Javier crapped out. Or Uriah, Keller. So that was probably the worst call of the day, right? You guys remember I was like, okay, now I'm going to make some stands. I'm going to make some stands on my stacks. And probably long term, it's still the right thing to do. I'm not doubting that aspect of things. But did lead me to X out Seattle, and they scored 14 runs. So whatever it wound up being. I stopped paying attention once it was like comically bad. But yeah, I know why I lost last night. Like I'd much rather lose like that where I made a bad call and it didn't work, right? Than the night before where like most of my pitchers worked. I didn't make any specific calls that didn't work. I guess got unlucky with sampling error or something. I hate that. Hate whenever something like that happens. Where, oh yeah, I remember because I even was on the right stacks, just the wrong pieces. And I was just like, how is it possible even to have so many pieces of like whatever stack it was, Kansas City, I forget who went completely nuts and not have the 2 and the 4 hole. Yeah, anyway, very frustrating. So much rather lose like I lost last night. So now I'm ranking the ways I'd like to lose at baseball DFS. So welcome to my DFS show. You should like, comment, and subscribe. I'm here every day. I probably will do other sports as well. I'm not sure exactly. Guys are just way too maybe I'll give football showdowns. I think I decided just because showdowns are kind of like where I find my edge as a mathematician. You know what I mean? Like I can definitely tell you what the sharp plays are going to be on the showdown, any showdown for NBA, NFL, baseball. So hey, yeah, let's start off with baseball showdown today. We got some weather. I crossed off Toronto and Boston because it's an orange and it seems like it is. Houston, New York, you also have to check weather right before main lock. But we've got an early game. I'm trying to pump this out an hour before this locks. The general strategies for these early games are to play the pitchers. If you're playing cash, one of them's captain, one of them's elsewhere in your lineup. If you're playing GPPs and you're trying to go for, I think it's 10,000. It's like 5 figures up top this morning, if I remember correctly. I'll probably give a couple looks here. But anyway, so whenever it's that amount, I'll take a couple shots at the actual 10,000. Today, that means playing Matt Olson, Cody Bellinger, or who's next? 17 minus 3, 14, 18, 19, and then Acuna's massively over-owned at captain. Don't play him. So yeah, it's Olson. Olson's implied is 23 minus 4 is 19% chance he's optimal. So 19% chance, and then Cody is 17.5. And then Ozzy is not close. Okay, so Patrick Wisdom and Austin Riley are really close. So it goes in order of most optimal leverage captain. Olson, Bellinger, and then Wisdom and Riley are about the same. So go with your gut on that. They're to the same like one decimal place to my level of confidence in the decimal places. Okay, so that's your strategy. If you choose one of those captain, you just pack whoever and you don't care about salary. You use all the salary, use however much you want. You pack both the pitchers in, you pack other starters. You don't have to get more creative than that if you're using a captain like Olson or Bellinger. That Bellinger ownership's just got to be wrong, right? Like maybe he's just not expected to be starting. I don't know what that is. Maybe he's overpriced. Yeah, okay, great. That's fine. Whenever you get somebody who's super low on because they're overpriced at captain, fine. That's what I'm looking for. Max Fried's not a meatballer. That's the downside. The upside is Cody's kind of been on a tear these last couple weeks. So yeah, that's my level of analysis. I saw what's his name, Forsaken making fun of that. I don't know what he actually Jesse goes by on Twitter. But but you got to go with your gut. I really do believe it. And hey, I got math to back me up again. If you are new to the show, you should look up the Iowa gambling task because I'm not saying listen to your gut, and I'm not listening to my own gut for no reason. I'm listening to my own gut because it is proven to work. Your gut works in like telling you whether or not something's rigged, telling you. So if you can tell when a deck of cards is rigged, presumably when you look at a projected ownership or you listen to a show and something, you're going to get a similar feel like, well, that doesn't seem right, right? And you got to listen to that. That's you. That's yours, right? Like nobody else has that specific lean. And it is a real thing that people who are gamblers are better at than people who are not gamblers. So anyway, hone out those leans, and then you go over to your roto tracker if you're having trouble and if you're using like $1 across a bunch of contests and a bunch of different sports to start to figure out what you're good at for the game, then you go through and you hash once you've had a few thousand competitions. What am I good at? Where am I making money? Obviously, but more importantly, where am I having good looking results? So this is what my NBA results look like. Oh, haven't logged in a while. Haven't updated in a while either. Okay, yeah, it hasn't been a good month. It's June. Okay, I haven't updated this in a while, so it doesn't include my WNBA thing. All right, I lost the page I was going to, but my general point is you should look at your cumulative distribution in your roto tracker and make sure that you are playing the right sports. Don't keep playing sports where you got no idea what's going on, except to figure out what's going on. I mean, I do that in NHL. So NHL, I've got I like sport. I win some sorts of like pick'em pools, but I don't know what's going on in the FS sport enough to be maxing it. And you can see it on my data. I got a little lump of like, okay, sometimes he wins, but mostly he doesn't. And there's a little bit of a down, like it's not just the top 0.1% like in baseball that's missing, where I feel like that's probably going to regress. And it's just like sometimes my stack picks are wrong. In like hockey, it's like the top 1.5 to 0.1% are also missing. And that tells me there's something wrong with my overall like rules and stuff where I'm not getting enough leverage plays in hockey yet in terms of my builds. Okay, so weather concerns took Paxton out, just so everybody knows. I'm now moving on to today's slate. Hello and welcome. If you have been fast forwarding, we are finally talking about today's slate, what I'm sure is freaking 10 minutes into the show. But if you watch the show, that's like every show. So except when I'm under the gun to get my kid to school or something. Okay, so the studs we're stuffing today: Aaron Nola, Merrill Kelly, and Reed Detmers. Actually, I guess I have to put Castillo on that list, even though that's leverage. I never know what to do with somebody when they're high priced, but they're way too low owned because they're high priced. So that's where I'm seeing Luis Castillo early today. First of all, people aren't projecting him as high. This is higher than anybody in the Council of Dudes has him. And the reason is Seattle. I don't think people really understand how bad Seattle is because they're good at, like, when they hit the ball, they hit it very effectively, but they're very bad at striking out. So, like, yeah, I remember almost 4 people on their team's home runs from the last week, but at the same time, when they're swinging for it, man, and when they don't get it, they don't hit it, and they are striking out. So I'm talking myself probably to an even higher percentage of this Castillo because I can't have him lower than Merrill Kelly and Aaron Nola. No. So we're gonna stick with that gut, and really, Detmers. I like him being a step down, maybe even another step, but for now, I'm leaving him just because we don't have enough value without Paxton. I added up my percentages with Paxton, and we were at like 245, so now we're at like 215. So I got to bring more people up and less people down. I guess if I'm bringing up percentages up, I'm on Ober, so I'll just commit to this being a play where I am leveraging Ober. Again, no, that's not because he's going against Minnesota, is it? Somebody else was against Minnesota. Yeah, Merrill Kelly was at Minnesota. Oh, and Castillo is on Seattle. Who's against Seattle? Well, that was a dumb rant. Huh. Yeah, he's been on Seattle for a while. Reynaldo Lopez. Yeah, well, we're not doing that. Huh. Well, we're going to bump this whole thing down to, well, okay, never mind. I didn't bump him up higher. Oh, my bad. That rant about who I bumped up higher than anybody else was about Kelly. That's what I get for prepping the show, is I kind of like had a little sub rant and I applied it to Castillo when it's about Kelly because it's not about the opponent being Seattle. It's about the opponent being Minnesota, which is actually the worst on the strikeout list. So, boom. Thank you for listening to the show. And we got there. The rant took a little while, but it was super valuable. Okay, so our leverage arms, if I'm putting them in order of important leverage, I guess, like most leverage I'll probably wind up with. 2 of these guys I think I'm putting Castillo on my leverage list. Okay. Leverage has to be people who are low priced and low owned. I'll leave Castillo on the list of like studs. So then the most leverage here, I'm saying, I guess, for Hunter Brown and Bailey Ober. And then I guess Reed Detmers didn't make the list of studs, but he's not quite. I'm straddling still. Do I make Detmers a play? Ooh, don't feel super. You can tell my gut doesn't like it based on that response. Is versus Seattle. Well, take that, gut. I already had this rant ready to go. So since I have said the rant, I couldn't find him. I don't know why I couldn't find Detmers. You guys saw me scrolling looking for Detmers. I wound up like whoever the first expected reliever is down here. But so I'm bumping Detmers up. I think he's in this class of dudes at the top. So Detmers is a leverage arm as well. Or is he? Yeah, at 8,200, he's so close to Kelly. I don't know what to call a stud and what to call leverage. But either way, you see the 7 guys I'm playing for this slate, you get the main point. All right, guys, I think I'm going to, if we've got 11 games, yeah, I'll fade. Who are the opponents? Seattle, Arizona, Philly, and Angels, SD, Houston, and Minnesota. So let's see. I'll probably fade the ones that I think are too high. Yeah, Minnesota's too high. Seattle's too high. I mean, you just heard me. I know they can hit home runs. I know it didn't work yesterday. I remember. I'm doing it again. Like somebody was mad at me because I made the anti Atlanta call 2 days in a row. First day it was against Rhea, fine, probably not a great play. Second day it was first going to be against a pretty good pitcher, and then he got scratched, and they put in Silset. So either way, with whoever that was supposed to be, who's now on the 15-day, I think, and Silset, I'm fine making the call 2 days in a row, even if the first day it's wrong. You got to have a short memory in DFS. Just because Seattle gave up or completely went nuts yesterday doesn't mean they're going to today. But it might. I could get unlucky 2 days in a row. And as I've said, like you got to have like don't play with money you can't lose every night. Like it's easy for me to say because I got a ton of money now. But seriously, even when I was playing for less money, when I had less money, the general point is either way, you got to be ready for the luck to come your way when it's ready. And until then, you can't be mad at whatever stupid luck thing happens. So just be ready for whatever stupid luck thing happens, particularly like all season in baseball. Don't care. It could all go wrong. Last night, you saw how high the stakes were for Hall of Fame game, $50,000 up top. I almost got lucky with some stuff there. I'll take my luck on those competitions. Totally fine. Take my luck. Tournament of Champions next year. Take my luck 2 weeks from now in the, whatever, Queen of the Court. Make sure you're taking out your luck on the big slates, or, hey, if I get unlucky the rest of the year in sports gambling, don't really care that much anyway because of life, right? Like there's all sorts of places to cash in your luck. Don't get super negative if you just have Seattle bash you 2 days in a row. Here's what I'm saying because I'm definitely making this call. All right, so what other calls? Because they're just too high. I mean, I don't like the run expectancy against Detmers. That's disrespectful. He's fine. I'm sorry. Earned runs expected. It's not run expectancy. That's like a whole matrix thing that I also like. And so I'm trying to leave it alone and make sure you should all Google run expectancy as we are the stat people. But that's more of a like building out a projection system than it is for you guys at the making projections. Okay, so other guys that I'm implicitly against on this slate stack wise, and we are losing one game. I got to remember we're losing Toronto and Boston, also to the rain, probably maybe 2 games. But yeah, I don't care. Any one of these other guys could blow up. I don't like going against Kelly. I did already X them out. Angels could go off. I acknowledge that possibility. And Kansas City. I don't like Kansas City. I think, where are they at? 4.1 might be appropriate, though. See, it's not just that I think they have a tough road. It's whether or not the baked-in tough road is the actual tough road, right? So, like, that's pretty appropriate expected runs for Kansas City. So I don't think I am going to X them out. I mean, it's low, but that just probably means I'll sample them at a low rate. Yeah, it's mostly these teams where I feel like they're a little bit high. Yeah, maybe I should just have a look at, now that I've got that system down, let's have a look. Anything seem high? Milwaukee 4.9 against who? Just jumping off the page at me. Quinn Priester. That seems a little high, but he's a new guy, so whatever. Okay, none of these other leans are going to be very strong. Yankees are a little low. Is that a good pitcher? Yeah, that's a good pitcher. Hunter Brown, yes, he's on our list of things. Yankees might be, yeah, they're just appropriately placed though. I think I like most of the other projections. So these are the ones where I think they're a little bit high. So I'm Xing them off. We got two off for rain. So the rest of the, you got still plenty of variety between those 18 teams. For 150, really I should probably make more calls here but I like not just to let the council of dudes eventually make a couple of picks here, but also to let Saberson have a role. Because like that's how I want all that money is, I let Saberson play a significant role. I play with the parts of the competition that I like. So that's limiting stack types. It's a big slate, so we're limiting stack types to 8s and 7s. And then we're going to see what type of value do we have. And then we're going to, if it's a lot of value, we're going to allow infinite 7s. Nah, it's not that much value. Johan Rojas, this is kind of scroungy value. So because it's scroungy value, I'm going to be more restrictive with my stacks. Otherwise, 5-2s tend to dominate. Like, it just likes to build them. So, and it's just not right. They shouldn't be quite so over, they shouldn't dominate. So I limit my 5-2s and I limit my 4-3s to like 60% so that I have 40% true stacks. I don't really care what kind of true stacks, I'll let them choose. True stacks meaning there's only two stacks have to hit. Because like, you see how often one stack just ruins the night, right? And so the goal is minimum number of independent events for you to mash. And so 2 pitchers, 2 stacks, 4 things need to happen. A 4-way parlay, fine. Like that's got some odds that we can calculate that are like within, playing 20 lineups, you should hit one of those. One of those parlays should hit. So hopefully they will for you tonight. And oh yeah, speaking of parlays, not seeing good value recently. Not playing very much of this. Playing the playing WNBA stuff seems a little looser, but that's not. I'm mostly playing DK's picks there. So nothing new, nothing unique. This Wainwright over is fine on walks, but that's the only one that's fine. So I'm not playing that. That was prize pick spread. Well, whatever. Freezing a little bit. Okay, well, yeah. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win that money. And hey, if it's not going to be us tonight, maybe it'll be us tomorrow. And maybe we're just saving it up for those big, big, big contests. So someday soon.